Welcome back, guys, to Replay Thursday, episode 2, game number 3. Alright, so SC2 rank, or drop SC, splitting a little bit of tricks on me. Apparently, the last guy was in gold but silver, and the first guy was in bronze but diamond. But this is okay. Also, the people on Reddit, sometimes they don't write their league because, following instructions sometimes can be a little hard. ADD, internet, all that jazz. But yeah. So we have a PVT. We have a PVT here. Here's a turn from Brobotics. So Brobotics wants advice. Let's see. He wrote something. I'm pretty sure Brobotics wrote something. So what he wrote was story of my life in PVT. I think I'm doing well, only to lose to Stim Bioball. I struggle with a 10 minute of terror in this matchup, where the Terran has Stim and is either dropping all over or just straight up rushing your front, and your AoE is weak or non-existent. Edit diamond level match. So thank you, Robotics, for letting us know your real rank and not having me to rely on your on drop SC. Alright, so you're going for 13 gate, no scout. The issue I have with, holy crap, you're cornering a lot of workers and making a late gate. The issue I have with this is that you have no clue if he's going gas, you have no clue if he's making 2 depot before maybe command center or just like walling himself in. So that's a big concern of mine. Of course, if you scout late, you're not gonna get to see anything. What I do is I scout on 11, allows me to scout first spawn, second spawn before the marine spawns or comes out. Your gas also being late. I think you're gonna do a Nexus before. All right, so really the timing of your build is sorry, my right ankle is hurting a little bit. The timing of your build is really funky, and I think it should be a little bit more refined. Maybe find some guide on Team Liquid, maybe watch one of my guide on YouTube at youtube.com/desrowfighting. And yeah, I think that could be fixed, but so far, and also I think you did 2 Chrono Nexus, where in PvT you always want 3 Chrono Nexus. So you're getting this a lot, you still have no clue where he is, you're gonna go Quas. Or close. Alright, I mean, I can't really, see, like, you're not gonna, alright, so this guy's doing 2 racks reactor first. Basically, what you need versus this is, you need 1 sentry, stalkers, and zealots. And if you did a 1 gate expand, you need to pull a low amount of probes, although you really have to be careful on how you micro those probes, because if they die, you're going to be in trouble. So they're there to get the Marines to A move into them, and then the moment they start attacking the probes, then you stop command and stuff like that. So now you're finally going to scout him. When you scout last like this, you want to like pay attention to your probe and then poke out. Like you paid attention to your probe a little late, so you see no expand. And what do? You see no expand, you're cornering warp, you research a lot right now. Please go 1 gate expand, please go 1 gate expand. You're making a lot of probes. Alright, so no, you're making, alright, so I expand at 26, you expand at 31 after a century. I wouldn't mind. Oh, so you're now poking with a Zod. But and in your description you said the bio is hard to stop. Of course, and in a situation like this where he doesn't open standard and he's gonna have a lot of bio early on, it will be hard, but it shouldn't be too hard. What I would do versus a 2 racks reactor first is I would cut the second gas and get 3 gates quicker. Because technically you have 1 sentry, you need 2-3 stalkers. That's not a lot of gas. I mean, you're not trying to start a gas station over here. So the second gas could be delayed. I like that you're chronoing a zealot now, and just because your core was about to be done, it would have been a useless chrono. At least now you're going to be able to squeeze another unit out. I wish you would chrono your gate now, so it transforms faster and the cooldown goes quicker. I think that's something not enough people do. If you chrono it now, it transforms faster, and then once it warps a unit, it's gonna this pylon, man, this pylon. So you never know when Terran's gonna go pull all SCVs and not let you finish your Nexus. So pylons like these, they're too far forward. They're not conservative enough. If you wanted a pylon, it could have been like here, to the limit here. But if you have to sack your expand, you're losing a pylon on top of that. So I mean, like a pylon here, or this pylon's perfect. So really not a big fan of this pylon. So the gate transforms, you're not chronoing it. The stalker, man, that stalker didn't need to be there. You had the pylon for vision, you're gonna have the nexus for vision, what you needed, and now you're making another zealot, which is okay because it has a faster cooldown than the stalkers. Wait, why? Oh, that's because it's warped in. It has a faster cooldown than the stalker, so making your zealots first is okay. So basically, put the stalker in your main, let him snipe the pylon because you made a mistake. Make his zealot first. Go for and you're gonna have the supply even if you lose that pylon. Wait for maybe those 2 gates or chrono that gate, and go for 2 stalker, 2 zealot. Maybe just wait for another warp in. Go for 2 stalker, 2 zealot, a sentry, pull maybe 6 probes. See, 6 probes, and then you're good to go. But now you lose this pylon, your own zealots, you pull all probes. So you lost 4 probes. That wasn't so bad. I thought it was gonna go a lot worse. Your micro was okay. You did a little bit of mineral walking. You made stalkers after that. So you're grabbing a robo right now. Situation like this, you know he has an expand. You know is bio ball and his medevac is gonna be quick. I'm not a big fan of robo. I'm really not a big fan of robo. I would have preferred well, I mean the robo's fine to get, but going for Colossus here, I don't know. You're like in a really crappy situation. I wish you would have got the robo after, like, because you had the money, right? Like, let's go back. Like, look at your money. Like, usually, like, if there's a bio, like, you can all get, like, so basically, you won't get expand all the time, but you either go 1 gate, 1 robo, 2 more gates, or 3 gate, 1 robo. So you had the choice before pulling, like, right now, like, okay, so let's stop and go here, right? So, you know he's pushing with bio, because you were poking him. You know he's pushing with bio. Okay, so you know he's pushing with bio. So delete that gas, go for 2 gates, and then let's say that gas was delayed. Bam, robo. 6 minutes. Once the push is repelled, go for Colossus. You're fine. But because that robo is so late, because you're like, oh my god, 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 he's attacking me. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And that's okay. I mean, it happens to me too. Like if my army control's a little bit shitty, if I know I'm not gonna have AOE, like sometimes before 10 minutes I get flustered too. But just keep in mind that you really need that robo, otherwise your tech is really delayed. And then, like I was saying, if your robo is that delayed, I would go for like armor charge with immortals and try your luck there instead of trying to go for Colossus, because Colossus is really expensive and it costs so much gas that you're not gonna have that many stalkers, and it's gonna like leave you vulnerable to drops. So let's take a few notes here. Refine your build order. Go 1 gate, 1 robo, 2 more gates, or 3 gate, 1 robo, and don't make the robo late. Versus 2 racks reactor, 1 sentry, 2 zealot, mini stalkers, pole probes, pylon at natural, big no unless you know this natural is yours. SCV pole is deadly at this time of the year. Alright, so let's move forward with that. You push him back, blah blah blah, that was pretty good. Yeah, it was pretty good. Like the problem with this is while you pushed him back, you didn't continue probes, you floated a lot. So never cut probes unless you have a lot of gates mid game and need all your money for warpins early mid game. I'm gonna say early mid game. Like let's say like you're broke. Like even like you need money for warp in after that make probes. You know, like don't make probes and then you don't have money for warp in. If you don't have money for warp in, cancel the probes, make units, then make probes. Never cut probes. Never, never, never. 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 Alright, moving on. So you get a little robo, let's see what you do. You chrono probes, you're like, alright, I hold it to push. I'm on top of the world. You're like in front of the Titanic. And then you're like, oh yeah, this is awesome. You get a Twilight, you get an Observer. Twilight positioning, I was about to swear, it's crappy. On this map, you want your tech here. And every map, you always want your tech in the center of, against turn, in the center of, like, in the middle of your base. Like here, maybe like here. Here's a little, yeah, maybe here, here. But here it's like, alright, I'm gonna drop you, I'm gonna snipe it, you're gonna cry, and then turn's gonna lift up and leave. So you're going charge with no forge. Alright, so charge to me versus Terran that have a lot of Marines, which is the case because that guy's going, holy crap, that guy's going 3 reactor on his Rex. That guy's gonna have so many Marines. So basically charge, in my opinion, just makes your Zealot die quicker. Sometimes if you have good upgrades, it will make your Zealots like scary bitches. But in this situation, they're just gonna be like, oh, sup, let's go die, bros. So you don't want to do that. And so you're adding the Robo Bay after an Observer. And that situation where your Robo was so late, it needs to be before. What I would do normally in a normal game, in a normal setting, I would go one Observer, one Robo, make Robo Bay, then 2 more Observers. 1 Observer for his main first, that scouts whatever he's doing. 2nd Observer around the entrance. First Observer needs to not get scanned, of course. And the 3rd Observer would be for the most popular drop spot. So since you have 2 Observers, 2 follow his army, once he moves out, the popular drop spot would probably be here on patrol. Or could be here, but like I said, you're going to have 2 Observers on the map. But yeah, on your situation, man, priorities are priorities. You know, do your homework, get a Robo Base sooner. Gas is very late, natural, has enough probes. And PvT, gas is at the natural. If I'm doing a DT build, I'll go gas around 6-7 workers. If I'm doing, you know, a standard macro build, maybe, you know, like 10 workers, 8 workers, depending on how much gas you need. If it's a standard, I'll do 1 Robo Bay, 1 Forge. I put them down at the same time. Sometimes, if I think he's not going to do like a 3 or if he's not going to do like a 4-rack Marine push, then I'll go like Forge, like much sooner before Robo Bay. Sometimes I'll go like 1 game, 1 Robo, 1 Forge. If you really want to be greedy, like let's say you play versus your friend and you want to make sure you win both on that. So yeah, the gas is really late. You're limited on gas. You made some more sentries, which is okay. PvT, I mean, this ramp is not so large. I would have stayed maybe on 2 instead of making 2 more. So yeah, you're really limited on gas. You're going on charge, which are just gonna die so quick. So let's fix that. Alright, so get sooner, Robo Bay. Charge will make your Zealots die quicker. Get gas at natural much sooner. Make Forge for love of God. And God. Alright, so your Observer is here, parked. Do you pay attention to it? You pay attention to it. You pay attention to it when he moves out? No. And you take a 3rd, alright. So yeah, you are a head-end worker, yeah. But your tech is bad. Like you have to, and let's see if you're, and by the way, like I'm not, you know, like I might sound harsh, but I'm just, you know, trying to give you the best feedback that I can. You're adding more gates, which will delay your 11-10, which will delay your Colossus by 25 seconds. Like your Robo was so late, your Robo Bay was so late, and now you delay your Colossus by 25 seconds. You're like getting on your knees and you're like, all right, give it to me. This is a little bit sad. And I wouldn't take the 3rd. Like my philosophy on the 3rd versus in PvT is like, Either you take it like super early and go a lot of gateaways like parting style, or you defend whatever they throw at you with their first medevacs and then you take it. Sometimes I'll even wait for them to see a third, because sometimes they'll go like go Colossus, you go Colossus, then they go Viking and pull all SCVs. Then you take a third like that, especially on a map like this where you can't really buy time with force field. You're kind of screwed. I guess the exception, taking a third, would be like Entomb, where you can like force field pretty easily. But yeah, so yeah, you're kind of like in a crappy situation. Robobay needs to be repositioned. Like, this is still not filled, still no forges. So like your macro in this game is sloppy. Your tech decisions and like build order wise is sloppy. Your micro was good, so I'm gonna give you that. So you have charge. So no Guardian Shield is popped. It's popped very late. The Sentry needs to be moved forward to cover the Zots. So you see like this, like these guys that were like not even being targeted gets Guardian Shield. The rest doesn't. Like, so you move forward kind of luckily because that Sentry wants to attack this guy. But here, those Zots still not covered by Guardian Shield. So I mean, really? If you would have had a pylon down here, well, there was like a huge... There was a huge, like... If your Colossus came down here, swiped at a little bit of Marines, and kited them, or like baited them, and then you pull back the Colossus, and then if you would have had those gates transform, if you would have cornered those gates, if you would have had a pylon here and make Zealots there, and pop Guardian Shield again on that new batch of Zealots, you might have been able to pull that off. But unfortunately for you, yeah. And you kind of overprobed. I mean, you were like preparing for a third, so you would have had technically 12 probes for the third, which would have been super good. But you ended up floating. I mean, on 2 base, I'll go to 7 gate. You're on 5. So you took a greedy third, didn't have your production hub. Colossus was always delayed with the build order, and even after the Robo Bay was completed. And yeah, I mean, this is it. The game's already over. But yeah, thank you for submitting the replay, Robotics. There was a lot of little flaws in your game. I mean, you know, you got the diamond by putting in work. Unfortunately for you, there's like little mistakes that maybe you didn't look at your replay or you can figure out on your own. So I'm glad you came to me. But yeah, still no forge, and like I said, versus that many Marines, charge is just made so you die quicker. Yeah, just slaughter, man. Makes me sad. It's like watching Lord of the Rings when like everything's dying and you think they're losing. Everyone's so sad. But in this game, it actually does happen. Alright, so yeah, there's like no comeback. I don't want to put the music because when you go on faster ×4, it's just like a lot of noises. Or I don't want to put the sound, rather. But yeah, you could have took that fight if you would have had your 7 gates. Like, even with the third, you could have took that fight. But the Colossus needed to not be delayed. Like, the third shouldn't have been finished. It should have been building. And then you should have been able to hold this push. But, so yeah, always get your production up. Always make sure your Colossus is not delayed. Kind of rush for it. Like you said, I have trouble for the 10-minute push. Of course, this game was a little funky because this guy didn't open the one command center first, one Rax command center. But yeah, it should be a priority of you to get AOE. So thank you a lot, Robotic, for sending the replay. Always get your 7 gates so you have production. Don't get late forges. Charge is not really a priority, especially if you have AoE. Alright, so thank you once again. This was replay. That was game 3 of Replay Thursday episode 2. I hope you guys enjoy it. We'll be back with some